has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seat, the boogity, the bad apple with a bad attitude, and bad at or bad say, bad law, bad do, bad breath, bad attitude, bad vibes. We are live in the Magic City Studios in the Ferrall Palatial, right across the river through the woods from our granny loves a little blue dream hybrid in New York City. Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, direct traffic, some kind of fashion shake-it-up. Should do often come around flat party up, rats on the west side, bippers uptown, what a mess, tatted my brains, splattered all over Manhattan. I'm so hot for her, and she's so cold. Hey, what's gigging? I'm Ferrall, along with your boy Carver High this afternoon. Mafia running with Luke. I am your father. We have a birthday roll call on a Thirsty Thursday. Mitch Helen Keller, 28. He could have used that yesterday when he got lit up by the Nationals. JP France, 29. Frank the Tank Kaminsky, 31. Alan Crabb, 32. Daniel Theis, 32 as well. Cameron Maben, 37. Rudy Fernandez, 39. Sean May, 40. Ben Gordon, 41. Casey Dyke, 43. Roberto Luongo, 45. Jason Ellison, 46. Keith Bullock, 47. Scott Rowland and Keisha Ford, along with Kevin Weeks, all 49. OJ Santiago, 50. Chad Eaton, 52. Yanni Perot, 53. Carlos Reyes, double nickels, and Jack Del Rio, 61. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. We got day ball going on today around the majors. It's relatively light, but the Mets are playing 2 today with the Tigers, and they blew a lead, and it's now 3-3 Detroit. They hit a 2-run home run, Detroit, to tie it up. They're in the 10th inning now at Citi Field, 3s. After this one, another one, Manning is going for Detroit, Budo for the Mets, and that one starts bottom of the hour or around there, 7.5 to run, -130. We welcome our radio affiliates on a Thursday. Sirius XM channel 159, our satellite partners all over the Southern Hemisphere. And, of course, Sports Byline USA and their radio affiliates out of San Francisco, DPEC holding it down for us. We'll keep our eyes on all these games, plus Pittsburgh and Washington at the top of the next hour, along with Cleveland and Minnesota, Miami and St. Louis as well. Only one night game, the White Sox and Royals in Kansas City. So the Dodgers beat the Giants 5-4 last night. Ohtani, his first home run as a Dodgers. And they placed Jason Hayward on the IL with back tightness, by the way. Gabe Morency joined us this very hour from Vancouver. The Yankees beat the D-backs in 11 innings, 6-5. Aaron Judge with a big RBI double in the 11th. He hit his first home run. Also, did you see in the 11th inning they had the bases loaded and the Snakes had to put a pitcher at bat with the bases loaded? That did not go well. And the Angels beat the Marlins 10-2. Marlins still winless. Reds over the Phillies 4-1. Reds have looked pretty good. Nats finally gave the Pirates their first loss, 5-3. Cubs over the Rockies 9-8. They gave up 5 runs in the 8th inning. I had the Cubs minus a run and a half and got marlied. Astros beat the Jays 8-0. I hit that under 9. Yordan Alvarez with his second home run. We have that for you. The A's are going to play in Sacramento, it appears, from 25 to 27 while their stadium is built in Las Vegas. The Mets signed Julio Teheran to a 1-year deal. We've got your MLB best moneyline teams a week into the season, the most overs a weekend, and we'll break down that White Sox-Royals game tonight. The Bills traded Steph Diggs to Houston yesterday. That was the big story. We've got the reaction from Bills GM Brandon Beane on his message to Bills fans after the deal. We've got Super Bowl odds now after that deal and AFC odds on top of that. And Rashee Rice's attorney says today that Rice told police he was driving the Lamborghini during the crash on Saturday in Dallas. The Final Four is Saturday in Glendale, Arizona. NC State and Purdue UConn and Bama. Of course, Iowa UConn bets for the women's Final Four. The NIT finals are tonight, of course. That is Indiana State taking on Seton Hall. The women's Final Four tickets, by the way, on the resale market, selling for an average of over $2,300, twice as much as the men. Fox Sports and AEG are launching a college basketball crown postseason tournament in Vegas at the Grand Garden Arena and the T-Mobile Arena. They're going to have their own basketball tournament now. Basically, it's every team that didn't get into the NCAAs from the Big Five conferences is essentially what this deal is about. We'll have Coach Young on the Lion's Share breaking down his favorite basketball plays for tonight in the NBA, college, and talk about Julius Randle. Count on that. Plus, Davis Maddock of Fantasy Sports today. He'll break down baseball for us and give his favorite picks for Thursday. We got today in Carver High history. We'll do that. Plus, College Football Super League is being discussed by school presidents. We got Texas Open updates, the leaderboard. Carver High will get us the skinny on golf. Justin Thomas parts ways with longtime caddy Bones McKay, and Tiger Woods abstaining from sex, apparently, leading up to the Masters. Do people really still think he's going to win the Masters again? I just hope he can finish like a round of golf. Like, that would be like a big thing for me. The Lakers beat the Wizards by 5 last night. The Wizards covered. Hawks beat the Pistons despite Malachi Flynn putting up a 50-burger for the Pistons. But they lost, so it doesn't matter. Celtics beat the Thunder big by 35 at the Garden. The Nets upset the Pacers at no sleep till by 4. Cam Thomas with a big game. Grizzlies upset the Bucks at Milwaukee, 111-101. That's an embarrassing loss. We've got Doc Rivers on their issues. The Magic won at the Smoothie in New Orleans, 117-108. Suns, finally a team won at home besides the Celtics. They beat the Cavs, Phoenix, 122-101. D-Book, his 5th trip. Dub gets him 40 points. He had all kinds of threes he was jacking last night. Julius Randle, as I mentioned, done for the year with the shoulder. Looks like he needs surgery. So they waited 3 months to decide he needed surgery finally. Boy, did they screw that up. Vince Carter and Chauncey getting into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Tonight's games, Philly at Miami. Sacramento and the Knicks at the Garden, Atlanta and Dallas and Big D, Golden State's at Houston and Denver at the Crypt in L.A. to see the Clippers. Adam Kaplan's our NFL insider. He'll join us today as well. Plus, did you see the Ranger-Devil fight when they dropped the gloves at the beginning of that hockey game last night at the Garden? Every single guy on the ice was involved in a fight. 8 players ejected after the brawl. A big game in Dallas last night. The Stars embarrassed the Oilers 5-0. We got Torts talking about the Flyers in the playoff race. Where do you get a load of this? We'll break down all of tonight's games. I think there's 9 of them in the NHL. Get it all on a Thursday, coast to coast. Go with us.
NC State, the Cinderella story continues.
Creates a double team and then gets an assist. 3 assists already. Everything's going through the big man.
Maybe one of the most dominant runs now with double-digit wins and 2 straight NCAA tournaments we have seen in quite some time in the Big Ten.
Zach Edey does throw elbows. Zach Edey does duck in with his shoulder. Zach Edey does initiate a lot of contact.
Bama runs a style that can challenge them and upset them.
Only on SportsGrid.
You want a lefty jump hook? He got you. Alley-oop, got you. O-board, got you. Folks, the 7'4" monster did it up and under with the left hand. As much as Zach Edey is a unicorn in the sport of college basketball, you could say the same thing about DJ Burns. Old school.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Talk all you want about how fat he is. No one can guard him. No one can stop him. He's a violent offender. He does whatever he wants in the low block and at the 10. He just does whatever he wants and scores at will, ad nauseum.
They're the Mike Tyson of college basketball. At some point, they're going to throw a haymaker. And when it connects, Ferrall, you're not getting up.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Five minutes, fellas. 5 minutes.
Appreciate it, man. Oh, okay. You getting that bet in before the boom, huh?
Yeah, LA all the way.
What? Oh, come on, man. You know it's Boston, baby.
KG, I understand why you said it, but it's LA.
Jay, are you serious?
You know what? It's LA.
Why are you standing up?
Because it's LA. You know what? You ain't scaring me. Let me tell you something. That
It's
ain't enough.
Boston, Boston, Boston.
It's LA.
So, BetMGM's giving away money in North Carolina in droves with the bonus code GRID. You are in. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $5. You'll get $150 instantaneously into your account, regardless of the wager's outcome. How do you get it? Download the app on iOS or Android or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up, deposit at least $5 into your newly created account. Place a wager of at least $5 standard odds on anything. Once you place the bet, you're going to receive $150 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your wager. You are going to love the BetMGM mobile app, and you're going to love the SportsGrid app. Download that on iOS or Android in the Play Store. It's free. It's amazing. Follow your favorite hosts like Carver High, and you can watch the network on this app. You can listen to the network on the app. It's got it all, highlights, video scores, in-game odds, you name it. It's on the SportsGrid app. All right, Carver High. The last time I checked, it was still 3-all. They're in the 11th, so the Mets had runners on first and second and couldn't do anything with it. They're in the 11th now of a 3-3 game with the lowly Tigers. Meanwhile, the Mets are winless on the season. If they lose this game, they would be 0-5.
They would, and they had a 3-0 lead in this game, Scotty. Happy Thursday to you. And they, of course, blew it. Ottavino gave up that homer to Riley Green in the 8th inning, which tied this game at 3. And now Detroit has a little something cooking here in the 11th, Scotty. First and third with nobody out for the Tigers, as they will try to push across a couple of runs here. They still have another game to play after this. Of course, whenever this ends, about 25, 30 minutes after, they'll play game 2 of the doubleheader with Matt Manning and Jose Butto going to go in that one. So a very long afternoon out at Citi Field, Scotty. I saw a couple of 10 or 20 people that actually are sticking it out for the whole thing. They were there early for both games, so that's a long haul. Doubleheader on a Thursday afternoon in April weather. Tough day.
I mean, I don't know how you really come back from this. If you are like the Marlins or the Mets and you're still winless, it is such a brutal way to start your season. And it's like you're climbing up a muddy, wet mountain the rest of the season when you find yourself in that kind of a hole that early. What if they lose this game and now it's runners on first and second? I guess, I don't know what happened. They had them at first and third. They moved one of them back,
They threw a runner out at home. So the Tigers got a hit. Mets threw him out at home. So that's why you still have first and second now with one out. So the Tigers couldn't get the first run in from third base. We'll see if they can get anybody across here in the 11th. There are 3 other games that are going to start this afternoon in about an hour from now, including the Buccos, Scotty, who did unfortunately get their first loss of the season. They weren't going to go 162-0 as much as we wanted them to. They will send Martin Perez out in D.C. today against Josiah Gray. Pirates right now minus 115, minus 105 for the Nationals, 8.5 the total on a late afternoon getaway day in D.C.
Yeah, I bet on the Nationals today again in this game against the Pirates. And it was earlier today they were favored. And now they're dogs. They were favored, I think, this morning, minus 115. Now they're 105. I could be wrong, but I bet it. So I could have sworn that's what I got it at, something like that price. But I took Josiah Gray and the Nationals today over my Buccos, believe it or not.
Okay. Also coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, home opener for the Twins. They have the Guardians in. So the Guardians were out west in Seattle yesterday. They now come to Minnesota. You're going to have Tanner Beebe going for Cleveland. Pablo Lopez pitches for the Twins, who are minus 160, plus $135 for the Guardians, and a flat 7 here in this one.
Well, I won't deny the Guardians have looked really good, but look who they started the season against, the high school team in Oakland. So I'm not sure that being on the road that long is doing you any good. Now they fly to play the Twins in Minneapolis. I like Minnesota here in Lopez to handle their business at home.
And finally, home opener for the Cardinals after starting the season out west in L.A. and San Diego with a 3-4 record. You mentioned the Mets, how it stacks up. I think you did throw the Marlins in there as well. They are 0-7 as they get ready to play this game in St. Louis this afternoon. They will have Ryan Weathers here. Lance Lynn goes for the Cardinals, minus 150 for St. Louis, plus $125 for the Marlins, 8.5 the total.
Yeah, and first of all, the Tigers scored. They're up 4-3 now with 1 out, runners on second and third. And I'm obviously betting on the Cardinals. I did bet on them this morning, and I took Lynn over Weathers. I've already seen Weathers pitch against the Pirates and get lit up. I like the Cardinals minus a 1.5 here on the run line in St. Louis at Busch to get it done over this team. They'll be 0-8. And like the Mets, I mean, if they lose this game and then lose the second game of that doubleheader, I mean, people are going to start freaking out. I mean, that they're going to start 0-6 if they lose both games in this doubleheader. I bet they wish it was still raining.
I bet they wish that as well. That was Colt Keith with the RBI double for the Tigers to make it 4-3. And the Mets are going to hit the streets to Cincinnati and Atlanta after this. 2 teams that, of course, are off to pretty good starts, and they always lose to the Braves anyway. So that's going to be tough one way or the other. 2 outs now for the Tigers. They're in the top of the 11th with 2 on, nobody out. Let me give you one from last night. Then we have only one other game tonight. I'll give that to you later on. Let me start with the Dodgers, Scotty, against the Giants. Of course, they are out to the start people expected here. 7-2 now. And finally, Scotty, I waited all week. I told you on Monday. I was like, wait. It's like I just kept pulling the slot machine. I'm waiting. Eventually, can this guy hit a home run for us? Well, finally, last night, Ohtani, Spectrum Sports LA. Here we go.
3-1. Dodger home run. Okay, you
can sign it. It's a signature.
Worth the wait, and it got out in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's just fantastic for Morency and all the Dodger fans. I could care less. I'm over here. I got other things going on. Yankees, Pirates. I don't worry about any of that. Dodger blue and that guy with his gambling problems.
Well, they are they're very tough. That lineup up and down. I watched them the last couple nights against San Francisco.
Whatever.
And it is it is tough. Every corner that you turn, you got another. I went after them the other night, too, when they started the bullpen guys. They didn't even pitch a starting pitcher. They started bullpen guys against Webb on, what was that, on Tuesday night. And I even got burned there trying to go after the Dodgers. So I'm not doing it anymore. I'll just bet Ohtani to homer every night, Scotty. That's enough for me. They put Jason Hayward on the IL as well, as he has back tightness. Always good to get the back tightness the first week of the season. Didn't stretch enough, Scotty. In spring training for Jason Hayward. So there you go. I got a couple other things from yesterday that I'll give you after you talk to Gabe, including the end of a really strong road trip for the Yankees to start the year and the first Aaron Judge sighting of 2024. And we have one game tonight, as I mentioned, the White Sox and the Royals, a good one in Kansas City.
One of the best bets I got already in baseball this season that I hit was the Cardinals on Saturday night when they beat the Dodgers at $1.78 on the plus side to upset them. I went against Yamamoto, and he didn't pitch bad, but they lost the game.
NC State, the Cinderella story continues.
Creates a double team and then gets an assist. 3 assists already. Everything's going through the big man.
Maybe one of the most dominant runs now with double-digit wins and 2 straight NCAA tournaments we have seen in quite some time in the Big Ten.
Zach Edey does throw elbows. Zach Edey does duck in with his shoulder. Zach Edey does initiate a lot of contact.
Bama runs a style that can challenge them and upset them.
Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, is it pretty much cut and dry that NC State is the biggest surprise of the weekend? I mean, I don't think anybody's bracket had the Wolfpack going this far.
I think they're going to find a way to keep this one close. And we all know Purdue's tournament history under Matt Painter. They've had a lot of early exits when they've been good teams, and maybe this is the time they'll exercise their demons. It's kind of like when Virginia lost to that 16-seed UMBC.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
So I'm not sure Alabama is the team to knock them off from this second consecutive national championship chase. But what will be the key for the Crimson Tide if they can even cover a number?
That wing ball screen action and how you defend that is going to be a problem because of Donovan Clingan, it forces you to change so much what you do defensively if he's able to score inside.
Only on SportsGrid.
Talk all you want about how fat he is. No one can guard him. No one can stop him. He's a violent offender. He does whatever he wants in the low block and at the 10. He just does whatever he wants and scores at will, ad nauseum.
They're the Mike Tyson of college basketball. At some point, they're going to throw a haymaker. And when it connects, Ferrall, you're not getting up.
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Make sure you catch Sports Rage every night at 10 Eastern along all of our affiliates on the radio side, Sirius XM, Sports Byline, USA, Mightier 1090 in San Diego, and of course, Sports Grid Radio, Sports Grid TV, all of our outlets. You can catch Sports Rage 10 East every weeknight, and you can catch Morency every day on Coast to Coast. Morency just told me that he'll be trying out for the Los Angeles Dodgers in a 4-day tryout and is going to their fantasy camp, which I have heard rumors that if he does well, he will be added to the roster and make the Dodgers and be done doing shows. He wants to be a professional baseball player, and I'm behind him 100%.
And you know what? It'll be perfect. I'll be able to hook Ohtani up. I'll let him know where he can get his bets in, no problem. He needs a new connection in the clubhouse. I want to be that connection. See, I never really pictured, going to one of these, fantasy camp type of deals in the past because I was on the field, Scott, right? I was in the clubhouse. I was covering Major League Baseball for free, like and getting paid, right, to do it. So, I played in a media game at Olympic Stadium on a big league field and stuff. But as I get older, right, not a lot of things make you happy, right? You know what I'm saying? You want to do what you want to do. And I stumbled across the Dodgers adult baseball camp, Scott. Now, there's two of them, all right? There's two of them. There's one during spring training that's pretty cool. They hook you up with the hotel and everything. And, it's like, 5 days in Arizona, and you go to every day and you play and all this. But there's another one at Dodger Stadium, Scott.
Whoa,
and it's in May. And I'm just loading up. I want to load up the itinerary here for you. It's just too good. It's one of these deals where it's like once in a lifetime. It's going to be so cool. So this is what it is here, Scott. This is what you get. One full Dodgers uniform. I want this. Nice. It's going to be pretty cool. Dodgers full uniform, name customization, pants, belt, socks, on-field Pro Dodger hat, fitted hat, and own personalized locker in Dodgers clubhouse for the weekend. Like the Dodgers are gone, we take the clubhouse over, Scott. I like that. Practice attire includes performance shirt and shorts. 3 days of baseball games at the field at Dodger Stadium with certified umpire, special home run derby under the stars. Exclusive use of Dodgers indoor facilities. Includes professional clubhouse staff, athletic training staff. Team meals, snacks, beverages, included daily lunch. Welcome dinner with special guest. Autograph and photo opportunity, special Dodgers programming, including stadium tour, chalk talk with Dodger greats, Q&A session with Dodger personalities and front office executives, custom baseball cards, highlight video of your experience, gift bag Dodger swag souvenir. And then you get the All-Star, you play your game. There's a big banquet on Sunday night. It's $5.
Yeah, that's worth $5.
Dude, the gift bag, look, a Major League Baseball uniform, the belt, the jersey, that's what, $1,500? You know what I mean? The Dodgers gift bag on the way out will be good, too. The Dodgers are first class, so I'm like, the gift bag will be good, too. It's going to be a ton of cool stuff in that.
What position do you want to play, Morency?
I'm going to play second base, Scott. Davey Lopes. I'm second base.
I like that.
I'm like Gavin Lux. I got arm problems. I can't get it from shortstops. Give me a problem. Put me in second. Nice and
nice flick of the wrist over the first. You're good to go.
Nomar Garciaparra, Steve Yeager, Eric Gagne. I can go on. A bunch of Dodger players, former Dodger players, will grade you by skill level and put you on different teams. So I'm actually, kind of thinking, I don't want to be like, I'm going to kind of know big league players are going to, put this bald guy with the old guys. They all suck, right? So I was actually thinking, I'm not going to drink before. I'm going to show up in the morning for the workout, you know what I mean? And all that. Well, yeah, no, it sounds like a good time, doesn't it? Like I said, so it's Thursday, May 9th. Check-in, clubhouse locker room assignment, welcome dinner, Q&A with special guest. Sounds like a lot of wine there. I saw a video, Scott. It was Oral Hershiser pimping his wine in his vineyard, and everyone's drinking wine with Oral Hershiser.
Well,
I want to do that. I want to do that. Yeah. You know, step out, hit one, come back. Hey, Dave, what's up, Oral? Tell me about the World Series, bro. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah, Thursday night check-in dinner, clubhouse locker room assignment, welcome dinner, Q&A special guest. Friday,
special
May 10th.
guest, Fernando Valenzuela.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be awesome. Friday, May 10th, breakfast, photo day, game batting sessions, lunch, batting practice, games, dinner. Saturday, May 11th, breakfast, games, chalk talk, lunch, Q&A. Sunday,
about a
breakfast.
drive-by by Dusty Baker.
Yeah, that'd be all right. Sunday, May 12th, breakfast, championship game, awards reception, family picnic, and catch on the field.
I mean, that's like it's a vacation. I mean, that is
at Dodger
just
Stadium.
Absolute. Yeah, you can't beat it. It's incredible.
I figure we'll get some good content too, Scott. Me up at the plate in Dodger Stadium in the uniform and everything. It's going to be badass.
How about a game-winning home run from Morency to win the championship?
Maybe an inside the Parker. I'm not clearing the wall.
I think he will clear the wall. All right, what do you think of the Frozen Four tonight?
I actually have gone, and it's all documented. I've been posting all the picks. 14-2-1, Scott, in the NCAA ice hockey last weekend in the regional. 14 wins, 2 losses, 1 push. So we look to keep it going this evening, and I think I have a pretty good handle on this. And we're going to start off with the under in Denver and Boston University. I think this is going to be a real sort of, 3-2 type of hockey game. Wouldn't surprise me if this game went to overtime. Boston University and Boston College are the heavily hyped teams coming into this tournament, but they don't get there, right? I was looking. The last time a team from Boston won was 2012. So it's like all this dominance. Oh, Boston this, Boston that. Okay, well, go up there and do it. I do think Boston put it this way. Boston and Boston aren't playing each other. So which one is getting knocked off here? I think Boston College are better than Boston U personally. I think Boston U will survive against Denver, but give me Denver plus 1.5, Scott. And I like the under 6.5, and it's plus money. All right, this one's plus money at plus 120 to go under 6.5. Michigan and Boston College, there's going to be goals scored in this game. But with that being stated, the total's up to 7.5 right now. I got to go under 7.5 here, Scott. It was 7.5 the other day against Michigan State. Michigan won 5-2, or it was 7. We got the push with that one. Michigan do play higher scoring games. They're explosive offensively, but there's a trip to the national championship on the line here today. I don't think it's going to be one of these 6-5 type of games. I think they'll tighten up a bit. I think the Michigan Wolverines are live here at plus 135. And I don't want to be cliche here, Scott, but, dude, like 70% of these games, like half the games, like have gone to overtime. It's so competitive. These teams are so even in college hockey. So getting a plus 1.5 with Denver at minus 170, I like. Getting a 1.5 with Michigan at minus 165, I like. I think both dogs are live, and let's go both unders.
Yeah, I got my kid, I told you, Aaron Menenian's on that BC team, number 17 with the Dallas Stars. Freshman at BC. Kid's won 2 gold medals already, playing in the Frozen Four his first year at Boston College. I'm looking forward to seeing BC
8:30
against
Eastern.
Michigan. I look forward to that. Now, there's a really good NIT basketball game tonight, believe it or not. Great matchup with Seton Hall and Indiana State at the Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. 20,000 Sycamore fans will fill that place. They're going to own that building.
You know what? These are the two teams that were the most vocal and people thought that should have been in the tournament the most, and here they are right now. I give both these coaches and kids and programs credit for battling as hard as they have. So only one team can cut down the nets, and you just talked about it, Scott. Interesting, isn't it? Seton Hall play in this gym, right? The Butler are in the Big East. So they're familiar with the gym, but it is in Indianapolis. It is in Indiana. You got Indiana State. So right. They're playing in their home state. They've just been such a good team. They're more than just Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. These kids can shoot. They play at such a quick tempo. I love the over this game. They've been scoring 90 points a game in the NIT. Seton Hall have been scoring 87 points a game in the NIT. The NIT has just been a track fest. There's going to be points here. Seton Hall have the better defense. Indiana State have the better offense. The game is in Indiana. I think the Sycamores get it done tonight, Scott. Who do you like tonight? And sorry, Mafia.
Yeah.
And I'm often wrong with Seton Hall games. But I had the Hall against Georgia. But I think the Sycamores cut down the nets tonight, Scott, and it goes over.
Yeah, I'm with you. I bet on Indiana State yesterday at 2.5. I thought the line might have moved, but it's still at 2.5. I've been like you with hockey in basketball. I hit the last 8 spreads in the Elite 8 men's, women's, and both semis of the NIT.
Can't wait
so
for
I'm
the
going for
women's
9
tomorrow.
tonight. I'm with you on the Sycamores. Big advantage. I think that's worth 5 points, 6 points at least. Playing in front of the entire house will be rooting for the Sycamores. The other night, Seton Hall played. There was about 5 people there for the Hall rooting for the game. So they got their hands full.
It's a home game tonight. Yeah.
I think Holloway's done a great job at Seton Hall. There's been talk of him going to Louisville. I don't believe he's going to Louisville. He's a Jersey guy through and through. Played there. Coaches there. Their problem, Morency, has been NIL money. They don't have people giving tons of juice to the program to pay these kids.
Come on, Mafia,
like
step it up.
Rutgers is doing. It's Mafia's fault.
Is Mafia who's the most famous alum from there? I think it's Brian Ciano, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, we might have to have an NIL fundraiser for Seton Hall or something.
At the Rock in Newark. I went there the other night. I watched the Penguins and Devils. Penguins scored 5 in the third, Morency. I left very happy.
You were there. Huh? Awesome. I think it's the only game they've won all year.
They got a big game tonight against the Cavs.
NC State, the Cinderella story continues.
It creates a double team and then gets an assist. 3 assists already. Everything's going through the big man.
Maybe one of the most dominant runs now with double-digit wins and 2 straight NCAA tournaments we have seen in quite some time in the Big Ten.
Zach Edey does throw elbows. Zach Edey does duck in with his shoulder. Zach Edey does initiate a lot of contact.
Hammer runs a style that can challenge them and upset them.
Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, is it pretty much cut and dry that NC State is the biggest surprise of the weekend? I mean, I don't think anybody's bracket had the Wolfpack going this far.
I think they're going to find a way to keep this one close. And we all know Purdue's tournament history under Matt Painter. They've had a lot of early exits when they've been good teams, and maybe this is the time they'll exercise their demons. It's kind of like when Virginia lost to that 16-seed UMBC.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
So I'm not sure Alabama is the team to knock them off from this second consecutive national championship chase. But what will be the key for the Crimson Tide if they can even cover a number?
That wing ball screen action, how you defend that is going to be a problem because the Donovan Clingan forces you to change so much what you do defensively if he's able to score inside.
Only on SportsGrid.
Talk all you want about how fat he is. No one can guard him. No one can stop him. He's a violent offender. He does whatever he wants in the low block and at the 10. He just does whatever he wants and scores at will, ad nauseum.
They're the Mike Tyson of college basketball. At some point, they're going to throw a haymaker. And when it connects, Ferrall, you're not getting up.
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. The Yankees got another one last night in the desert. Strange ending, but they got the dub.
Very strange ending. Quickly before I get there, final at Citi Field. Tigers win that first game of the doubleheader against the Mets 6-3. They'll now start the second game in about 20 minutes. And the Buccos and the Nats, Scotty, they will be in a rain delay at the start. So they will not start on time down at Nationals Park for the Buccos and the Nats. Yankees, as you mentioned, a 6-5 win over the Diamondbacks yesterday in Arizona. They take 2 out of 3 there. How about 6 out of 7 on the road to start the season for the Bombers as they come home to face the Blue Jays tomorrow? Aaron Judge had been very quiet over the first few games of the season for the Yankees. He was not yesterday, Scotty. How about a 2-run homer early in the game, and then in the 11th, putting them ahead on the Yes Network.
Judge, and I heard the gop. That one's driven into right center field on the run, Barossa. He can't get there. It gets by him, and it goes all the way to the wall. Scoring is Torres. Going to second with a big RBI double. Aaron Judge, and the Yankees lead 6-4.
There you go. And they win, and he hits a home run, and he's getting going. Obviously, he was out for a lot of the spring, and he, didn't, it seemed to me in the opening series, have it going in Houston. His timing was off. And then all of a sudden, they went to Arizona, and he started swinging the bat better, seeing the ball better. He was getting shafted on some calls. I remember the game the other night, they threw to him down by his feet, and they called a strike, and everybody went crazy. But now he's hitting home runs and roping doubles to win the game. So, the Yankees are in a fantastic place right now. Who would have ever thought they'd sweep 4 in Houston and then do as well as they did in Arizona? The only guy to beat him was Gallon of Milk.
Only guy to beat him was Gallon of Milk. And lost in it, Verdugo had that homer in the 10th before that, which was a big homer for him, and then Arizona tied it. And I thought Boone, and we get on Boone a lot. We know that. We love to hit Boone like a piñata here on Coast to Coast. Walking the bases loaded to face the pitcher because the Diamondbacks were out of position players, Scotty. Actually, pretty smart move by Boone, but smart move by him. There you go. We give him some bouquets today. He made a great move.
Unbelievable. And then the guy struck out. That was that.
Yep, struck out looking. Angels beat the Marlins 10-2. As we said, the Marlins are now 0-7 as they get ready to face the Cardinals coming up here in a little bit. Reds beat the Phillies 4-1 last night. That was after a very lengthy rain delay that they had in Philadelphia. Nats beat the Buccos. Cubs actually almost blew that game against the Rockies. They were up, 7-0, 8-0 in that game. Rockies.
I had it at minus a run and a half at plus 128, and I was up 5 runs. And they gave up 5 in the 8th, and then they almost lost it. And then in the 8th, they scored a run and made it 9-8, and they had like 2 other guys on base. They could have scored 10 or 11 runs, and they didn't. They scored 1 more. That was it.
That was all that they could score. The Astros have been off to a slow start as well this year. They, of course, got that no-hitter from Blanco the other night to beat the Jays. Last night, 8-0, Scotty. Yordan Alvarez, like Judge, has been a little slow to start, and Ohtani, other power hitters, but he busted out last night, hit his first home run of the game early on, and then added a second on Space City Home Network. Here we go.
This ball smoked. Deep right center field. Number 2 on the night. The big man who wears 44 is 4 for 4 tonight with 2 bombs.
I hit the under 9 in that game. It landed on 8. It was a sweet bet. If it wasn't for that Cubs blowing that big lead, it would have been a perfect night hitting bets. But at least I hit that under 9.
I certainly did. I want to talk to you about this A's thing that's going on because, as we know, the A's are moving to Vegas in a few weeks. This was announced earlier this afternoon, Scotty. The A's will play in Sacramento from 25 to 27 while the stadium is being built in Las Vegas. There's actually an option for 28 as well if they don't have it finished over there by where the Trop sits right now. There was that last-ditch effort, Scotty, by the city of Oakland trying to extend the lease at the dump for a few more years so that they could stay there until Vegas was ready. That fell through. A's decided Sacramento would be a better option. So for 3 or maybe 4 years, Scotty, they're going to play in that little minor league ballpark that sits 10,000 people. It's going to be kind of like what saw somebody make this comparison. It's like what Arizona's doing in the NHL right now. They're going to be playing in a legit minor league stadium with fans sitting on the grass for 3 years in Sacramento.
Well, look, what is the difference between that and – because I think they'll easily get 10,000 for those games. But no one goes to the dump. No one goes to that ashtray. It is the worst stadium in sports, and it's an embarrassment to professional sports that they still play in there. Cold water, rats, feral cats running around on the field. I mean, nobody goes. The fans protest out in the parking lots. I'll tell you one thing. If I were this guy Fisher, I would have already done it because they hate his guts. I mean, this guy gets death threats, you name it. The owner, they loathe him. They literally want him dead. So who needs that nonsense and grief? I think they're better off, frankly, playing in Sacramento. And then what I don't understand is, to be honest with you, Mike, and you've been around Vegas a lot with me over the years, they're going to tear down the Trop, scrape it up, and then build a baseball stadium there. I don't understand why it takes 3 years to build a baseball stadium in Las Vegas when you and I have seen them build casinos in a year. When they really want to build something, they double up the union guys and they build it in less than 12 months. They built that Circa I guarantee you that Circa casino got built in under 18 months. I guarantee it. I remember when they poured the cement and then that thing was up in a year and a half. It was done. I don't understand why it takes so long to build a baseball stadium in Las Vegas. I really don't.
I feel like Allegiant was, and even with a stoppage with COVID, right? I feel like Allegiant was pretty quick too.
It didn't take 3 years.
You're right. But well, look, we know this. There's still some problems there in town. It seems like there's still a contingent of politicians in Las Vegas who, frankly, don't want them there, it sounds like. And it sounds like, but they're going to have to get over it, Scotty. It's like we said this the other day about the fans who are protesting outside the game in Oakland. Like, you have to get over it. Like, it's happening. This is going to happen. It's moving forward. And you're right. They'll have more fans in Sacramento than they will in Oakland. More people.
There's just nothing to say here. They're going to go to Las Vegas. It's happening. And, I don't know what kind of games Mrs. Goodman was playing when she said we don't want them after they clearly won them. I don't know what she's up to. I really don't. And I don't frankly care. I'm certain of that team's going to be there. And I'm also certain there'll be an NBA team there. And that'll happen within, I believe, 5 years. Within 5 years, an NBA team will be there as well. And then there'll be nothing left for Las Vegas to obtain.
I like this one, dude. They're gonna they're trying to keep the colors and the nickname in Oakland in case they get a team back. Like how they want to just keep all the history of the team. Whatever. Why would they get a team back? It's just like we say, like Atlanta. It's just they're not gonna get a team back.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. The Raiders, the Warriors, and the A's all left that hellhole, which is what it is. And no one ever wants to talk about what goes on in Oakland, okay? This is not paradise, folks. This is a crazy place, and that's just all there is to it. I live there. I know anyone that lives there that can admit that Oakland's a hellhole, then you're just tripping. You're tripping. I mean, they got nothing but crime there and problems and drugs, and that's all there is to it. And nobody wants to be there. No pro teams want to be there at all, and neither do the Oakland A's. Let's stop with all this BS.
And it sucks for the hardcore fans, but like you say, they should have been there.
They have no fans. They have no fans. You cannot tell me a team that has 2,500 fans where, there's major league cities. Do the Dodgers have these problems? Do the Padres, Giants have these problems? No. When you draw 2,500 or less fans, you do not deserve to have a major league team ever again. I'm sick of these teams getting chances again. How about this one, the Atlanta team? How many times are you going to give a hockey team to that city that can't handle hockey? Nobody in Atlanta cares about hockey. All that is rich white people that want another sport they can go to on a Saturday night with their fat girlfriend and watch. They already had their chance twice and screwed it up and went bankrupt. I'm done with this. If you have no fans and you've had teams and they all failed, what moron decides to give them more chances? I've never understood it. I don't understand Gary Bettman for 1 second giving Atlanta another team. I mean, they failed miserably. And Oakland deserves another professional sports team like fish deserve water. Okay, I don't need it. I don't want to hear that they're going to get another team in Oakland. Nobody wants to go to Oakland, California for anything. The only thing I ever went there for was to get out of that airport quick. Boom, done.
Julio Teheran is still trying. The Mets signed him to a 1-year deal. He's going to get $2.5 million. We're only a week in, Scotty, but of course we always love this. The best money line teams in baseball so far. Now we're only a week in. This is the best and the worst, but the Yankees plus 5.2 units for you, Scotty. Only a week in, sending you to the window here. And who's second? The Buccos. Plus 4.4 units early on. Meanwhile, the Marlins have lost just 7. The A's, the Rockies, Mets, and Astros, the worst teams a week in on the money line in the MLB.
Yeah, keep an eye on the worst teams, and then what I like to do is bet against them.
Especially also, I know that's the money line numbers, but I go against them on the run line as well, Scotty. When you get into the Colorados and the Oaklands and things like that, we'll go after them. With the run line. Overs are 60% so far a week into the season. That's all games combined. Giants 7-0 to the over so far. Marlins, Dodgers, Guardians, Phillies, Pirates, Reds, all also with the majority of their games over the number so far this season. I only have, there you go for you, the most overs, Giants, all 7 games. Only one game for you tonight that we need to discuss, and that is the White Sox are in Kansas City, where we get Soroka and Lugo. Royals minus 175, plus $1.45 for the White Sox, flat 8 the total.
I mean, I'll take Seth Lugo. I want nothing to do with this game, but if I had to, I'd bet on Lugo and the Royals. I think the White Sox
are awful.
Awful.
They're awful. They are just absolute bunk. There you go. A very abbreviated, our first calm, easy baseball day. Not a lot of action. We'll crank it back up tomorrow on a Friday with everybody back in the mix. A lot of afternoon games tomorrow too, Scotty, for us on Coast to Coast because we have a lot of home openers. Yankees home opener. The Dodgers are at the Cubs tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to have a lot of good day ball on a Friday.
Are they going to play the Yankee game tomorrow in the daytime, or are we having another typhoon in New York? Maybe an earthquake?
I think they're going to get it in tomorrow, actually. I think they'll get it in tomorrow.
NC State, the Cinderella story continues.
Creates a double team and then gets an assist. 3 assists already. Everything's going through the big man.
Maybe one of the most dominant runs now with double-digit wins and 2 straight NCAA tournaments we have seen in quite some time in the Big Ten.
Zach Edey does throw elbows. Zach Edey does duck in with his shoulder. Zach Edey does initiate a lot of contact.
Bama runs a style that can challenge them and upset them.
Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, is it pretty much cut and dry that NC State is the biggest surprise of the weekend? I mean, I don't think anybody's bracket had the Wolfpack going this far.
I think they're going to find a way to keep this one close. And we all know Purdue's tournament history under Matt Painter. They've had a lot of early exits when they've been good teams, and maybe this is the time they'll exercise their demons. It's kind of like when Virginia lost to that 16 seed UMBC.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
So I'm not sure Alabama is the team to knock them off from this second consecutive national championship chase. But what will be the key for the Crimson Tide if they can even cover a number?
That wing ball screen action, how you defend that is going to be a problem because of Donovan Clingan, it forces you to change so much what you do defensively if he's able to score inside.
Only on SportsGrid.
Talk all you want about how fat he is. No one can guard him. No one can stop him. He's a violent offender. He does whatever he wants in the low block and at the 10. He just does whatever he wants and scores at will, ad nauseum.
They're the Mike Tyson of college basketball. At some point, they're going to throw a haymaker. And when it connects, Ferrall, you're not getting up.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So congratulations to Smiley Kaufman, the newest member of the SportsGrid team. He joined Craig Mish on Newswire today to talk about if we're ever going to see a merger between LIV and the PGA. Well, what do you think, Carver High? Are you ever going to see that merger? Obviously, we don't have the clip. And then I miss it, cleaning up the highways around the tri-state area. We got the clip. Let's see if we can play it. Here we go.
Will we ever see a resolution here to having this? I thought by January we were going to get there. Now we haven't. I feel like this could go on another year.
Yeah, just to touch on before I answered that. Yeah, last year it was John Rahm, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Victor Hovland. Those are the four names. It was like, okay, which one of those four guys is going to win this week at a major? But yeah, to your point, the June 6th announcement that there was a framework agreement in place that the PGA Tour upper executives had negotiated with the PIF. There seemed to be a lot of uncertainty of what that meant, if it was imminent between the LIV Golf Tour merging with the PGA Tour, which is what we saw on the TV on the announcement that day. You're thinking, wait, what? It just seemed like it was, it's an April Fool's joke, because the PGA Tour and Jay Monahan, all they did was talk so poorly about the LIV Golf Tour, also about the PIF, and the next thing you know, we're in business with them. So it came to be a shock for the PGA Tour players. But turning the page on what has happened since, there's been a control that's taken place with the PGA Tour players. They've basically reconstructed how the policy board is, and the fact that they have more control than the rest of the executives at the top. They have the voting power.